Welcome in Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss is on their first of two open dates, the second coming the week before the Florida Gators. And Oklahoma will be in town next weekend, 11 o'clock the start time. We knew the early window, but officially 11 o'clock now for the
Yes.
Sooners and the Rebels next week at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Hopefully clear skies, cool temperatures, and an early kick there in
Yesterday was a
Oxford.
really good day for us. The handful of
What's
us who
that?
are there on a daily basis,
Uh-huh.
we got sort of everything in one day with no media today, which is good. We were all pleased.
It's a bye week thing, yeah.
We got we'd been asking for Ulysses Bentley the fourth for the better part of 6 weeks. We got him yesterday. That was nice. And then we found out, and I know fans don't like this, and I understand why. I do. Media, you don't understand why it is what it is. This is difference. You win some, we win some. An 11 o'clock tip kick. A lot of happiness.
Yes, there hadn't been one. Now you get one. 11 o'clock here at
Kentucky was 11,
oh, it was. Oh,
and
great.
Arkansas's 11, and Florida's 11.
It is. Georgia's at night,
Georgia,
right?
there's no rumblings that it's 2:30.
Or is it flexed? Is
I
it a
think
it's not a night, it's a flex.
I think it's a flex.
Okay. So they may not have a night game in the SEC. Well, the Egg Bowl.
Egg Bowl's a day game.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So, no,
Black Friday.
it is. 2:30.
It's a 2:30 game. It's not flexed. It's set.
They do hate Ole Miss then. No night games the whole
Yes,
year.
they hate you.
Yeah, I mean, what it is Michael was mad that we made fun of the Bear, and now he's taking it out on Ole Miss
There it is.
by not giving him any night games. He probably would love the power to actually have that type of power to decide that, because as I was grilling him that day, he kind of went, "You think I'm making this decision?" I was
come
like,
He's just no.
simply a cog in the wheel at this point. So we'll talk some SEC Big Ten today. We'll talk plenty of other things there. I forgot to tell you something to do after. Okay, it jogged my memory. No big deal. It's fine. Yeah, nothing, no stressor. Anyway, all right. Blue Sky locations all over Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi as well. Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state of Mississippi. Ribs, pulled pork, side items. Fall breaks over. Got people back in town. School in session today. It was out yesterday. Back in session today. As let them take care of dinner for you tonight. You can call ahead, wrap it up, pick it up. They'll be ready to go there with, again, all Blue Sky and Sweet Daddy's locations throughout Mississippi. And we're in the Clark Ford studio.
We are in the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Our guest joined on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Got obviously our show yesterday was McCready and Siskey yesterday. I saw that in the file. Y'all going today too?
Yes,
2:00.
that is correct.
Bourbon South up this morning. Also, I assume Repeal will probably have something the next 24 hours. A lot of stuff up at MPW Digital and Rebel Grove, including Lane Kiffin yesterday. We'll start there.
Yeah, it was one of his more interesting appearances.
Yeah, because, I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum yesterday and Saturday during the game and after the game, and where the state of this program is right now. And in some ways, maybe the toughest week of Lane Kiffin's career at Ole Miss. Maybe not in some ways, maybe completely the way it is, as you're dealing with all these expectations that they caused in some ways. Fans frustrated, fans emotional, which is a good and bad thing. We'll get to why that is in a second. Lane pointed out himself in something that I had already logged off, so I didn't see yesterday. I thought he was really on point yesterday. I thought and it was a joke. And I don't think he actually was frustrated, but I thought his only even misstep the entire press conference was making the joke about thanks for saying something positive about the Caden Lee question.
Yeah.
That was only the minor misstep that I thought, shut up. But otherwise.
Well, because Caden came in later not to interrupt.
Yeah.
But Caden came in later, and you'll hear it. I'm going to write about it today. I didn't go with everything because I knew we weren't getting anything today, so I was saving some stuff for tomorrow, for yesterday, whatever. Caden was like, I know that the fans will be against us, the media is going to be against us, and I went. I challenged him on it. I did. I said nicely. I said, when you say that about media, do you mean social media? What are you referencing? And he sort of backed off of it. I mean, it's social media. I mean, look, people get on social media and go nutty after games. I mean, they just lose their minds. I mean, just insanity.
The number one advice to any player or parent is do your damnedest to stay the hell off social media.
Yeah, it's just a cesspool of
and message boards.
Yes. And I mean, that was about it. Yeah, he said that about thanks for asking something positive. I mean, a part of you wants to go, precisely who lane has been overly negative? I mean, out of curiosity, ours is one of the tamest, most forgiving, rational beats out there. I just don't know that there's been a lot of criticism from media.
Nope.
People have asked the Ulysses Bentley the fourth question, which turned out to be a very valid ask.
That's been it. It's that.
He's gotten some questions about receiver usage, but they haven't been all
lightly.
Yeah, and the answers. I'm not one of those people that does that because I don't really. So my standard on questions like that are if he turned around, like, because I asked a question yesterday and he asked me a follow-up, and so I was prepared to answer it. If I can't answer a follow-up, I'm not going to ask. Because if I say something about why aren't you getting the ball to other receivers more, and he were to say, well, how exactly would you have me do that?
You would have a very difficult time.
I mean, I'd be like, well, I don't know.
You just throw it to him?
You just throw it to him, right? Because that's simple. It's so simple that anybody could do it. A caveman could do it. Let's have a Geico commercial. So I don't do that because I know it's more complicated than that. In large part because I've got the binoculars on the offensive line, and I know why. Because the quarterback doesn't have a hell of a lot of time, and it's in his head right now. No question that it should be. Because otherwise he's going to get planted 2 feet into the turf at some place.
Yeah, because yesterday, why I said I thought he had such a good day was I thought there were 3 things that were mostly on his mind yesterday. One was he kept saying over and over and over again that if he can get healthy with the bye week, the offensive line is going to look different.
Yeah,
that's a duh.
They're bringing and then he basically said it.
He said Jaden Williams will be back,
and he basically implied that Jeremy James will play.
Yes, that he will be back also. So you have those changes. Oh yeah, we knew that. Okay. So that was number 1. Number 2, he is. I don't know if it's frustrated, upset, just simply bothered. It's haunting his dreams, but Nussmeier's third down play.
Yeah, he harped on that over and over.
He mentioned it like 4 times that Nussmeier got away from Perkins and completed the pass, and had he not, it would have been 4th and 24.
I'm having a hard time finding the play that he's referencing.
Well, it had to be on the last drive, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I have not gone back to watch it.
It's the disadvantage of the last few minutes. I was down on the field, and you couldn't see the game anywhere near as good as you could in the box.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Just very limited down there.
Incredibly limited.
So
and the security people kept saying back up, and I'm like, I'm right here, and there's nowhere to back up. My feet aren't even a.
Oh, we were doing the security thing where they get bothered by the little line.
Back up, yeah, on the line. I'm like, oh, for the love of God. There's 110,000 people in here, and you're worried about my toes being over the. Yeah.
Sometimes you get those security folks.
Oh, my. And they're bad about it there.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Probably because they're in a shitty mood after hours and hours of dealing with drunks.
Yeah. Because you said it was pretty rough.
It was very drunk.
Yeah. You wrote in 10 Thoughts the cheerleaders looked affected.
They were rattled.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you're pelted with... So LSU did a... Can we just jump around a little bit today? Is it
fine.
okay?
Yeah, sure. I wrote down my point. I'll get back to it. Go ahead.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. Because
you're good.
I do that. You do that to me occasionally, and I'm like, I can't remember what the hell I was talking about. LSU did this wristband thing. Everybody, like, they distributed 90,000 wristbands that lit up like a rock concert. Okay, and it was cool. I mean, like
the program thing. Yeah. I know what you mean.
It was cool. Like at the end of the third quarter when they did the Calling Baton Rouge thing,
It's neat.
it was electric, man. It was like being at a Coldplay or Britney Spears or Taylor Swift.
That song is the perfect length because it works in a timeout almost exactly, and it works in a pitching change almost exactly.
Yeah. And so it was great. And it was phenomenal. But shocker, people started throwing
Oh, really?
their wristband. And they started throwing it before the game started. So
They didn't wait for Calling Baton Rouge.
No, I mean, they were, yeah. And so after the game, for whatever reason, I mean, there's a picture out there. The Ole Miss cheerleaders are holding their signs over their heads because the wristbands had a little battery thing in it. So
there was some weight to it in a way.
You weren't going to get knocked out or anything, but you don't want to get pelted by 30 of them either. It wasn't like the little rubber ones where you're like, whatever, yeah, okay. I wouldn't feel this. This isn't, So anyway. And then, of course, they were invited to perform a sex act on a zoo animal.
Oh.
And
yeah.
You know the cheer.
I know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I mean, you're a little, I mean, I'm trying to do this as family friendly as possible. Yeah. I mean, I could say it. I just don't think it's.
Let's not.
I don't think it's a good thing for me to say. But I do want to paint the picture for the people that are out there listening. And so, when they came into the media room, and they were supposed to have gotten all their stuff out of the media room, and they hadn't. And we were in there. Lane had already come in.
Oh, it was even then.
Dart had already come in. And we were waiting for one other player who turned out to be Trey Washington. And nothing against Trey. I think if we'd all known it was just Trey, we were all going to leave.
Yeah, sure.
Because Trey has a career as a corporate spokesperson if he ever wants one. They came in during that interim and they were clearly rattled. They were
ready to go.
They were prepared to leave.
Yes.
They'd had enough of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I just saw that and thought, oh yeah, I get that all the way around. But and then the reason, the main thing from Lane's PC yesterday that he was speaking to his team a lot through the media yesterday was also giving certain tenor for the fans, but the middle ground he really did well on of, hey, the season's not done, you're good, but you got issues, you got to fix them, you got to learn from the film, you can't just cover your ears and move on with your day and ignore what has happened at the same time, because while you were 2 plays away, you were also 2 plays away. And you have to look at reasons why you're even in that situation to begin with.
Yeah.
But, one of his things, and it is true, I mean, Ole Miss is a talented, good football team if they stay together and don't have the unraveling that happens sometimes when these situations hit, is because it probably pisses people off. Around the country, people probably roll their eyes, but he's exactly right. There's only so many rosters that can realistically say, hey, let's just go win out.
Yeah.
Where you look at them and go, okay, sure. Yeah. If only it were that easy. But he said you want the guys to understand they are one of those rosters. So if you're playing well, and we just one at a time, and he said, because he said there's a balance. There's, hey, we know we got to win out, but at the same time, you only win out by focusing on today. So here you are.
And I read into that exactly that, but also that there's some unrest in the locker room. It's happening. There's some opt-outs that have happened. There's some guys that are displeased.
He said they were, I think he used the word bad when they came in yesterday.
Yeah.
Said they were bad.
Well, I mean, this is not a criticism of Jackson Dart, but Saturday night he was devastated. Like, to the point where I don't know that anybody was able to say to him, hey, got to go look like a leader here. You got to take the hood off your head, look into the cameras. I know this is hard, but I think he was too devastated to do it. I think he literally was going, I don't know how we lost that game. And after a while, a team loses its confidence a little, and I'm sure theirs has been shaken. Because look, had they beaten Kentucky, the LSU thing would sting, but it wouldn't be like this. And
No,
that's the
no,
loss
no.
that I still go back to and go, I mean,
They
ugh.
played like crap.
You didn't answer the bell that day against a team that's going to end up being really mid.
Yeah. That's a 7-5 football team.
I mean,
And they're only 7-5 because they got you.
yeah, and yes, were you better than LSU? Yes. Should you have won the game big? Yes, but you didn't. And it wasn't because of some stupid stuff. It's because you couldn't convert a 4th and goal. It's because you missed a short field goal. It's because you had a fumble that gave them 3 extra points at the end of the second quarter. It's a bunch of stuff. And then, and Elaine said this to his credit. LSU converted those 4th downs. I mean, it wasn't like some people came out of the stands and held the Ole Miss defenders down and went, okay, go do it. No, yeah, they made plays. They made plays that you didn't make.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, it's 100 and something snaps, and they all count.
Yeah, you did two things. You didn't stop them when they made the plays, and second, you didn't put them away early on where it didn't matter. That's actually the problem.
Yeah. Well, I've made the baseball analogy a few times. You're wearing a baseball shirt, so I'm thinking about baseball. And I watched a lot of baseball yesterday. When you load the bases in the first inning and you don't score. You load the bases again in the third inning and you get 1 run. And then you end up losing a 5-4 game in extra innings. And everybody writes about the damn extra innings. And you're like, no, you lost the game in the first and third.
Yeah.
Because if you'd put up a 3 spot and then a 2 spot, the game would have been over. You would have played the game completely differently, and you would have won this thing 7-3 or whatever.
And LSU was capable and is a good enough football team to bury you. It wasn't like that where you go, okay, just stop. Well, we're just going to keep doing this. It's going to be all right.
No, and that's kind of the point of the league right now that I think a lot of people are missing because they're emotional about their team, and that's not a criticism. Everybody does that. But they're not noticing that, man, you look around the league and all these games are getting decided by a play here and a play there and overtime here and the last play there. And, it's like we don't learn the lessons of Vandy, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, Tennessee. Those games are all kind of decided. South Carolina at Alabama. I mean, South Carolina, a week after getting their ass kicked at home by Ole Miss, goes to Tuscaloosa and the
ball's in the air.
The ball's in the air. I mean, it was a 1-play game. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And so when, there's a lot of games that are getting decided by a play. Oregon, Ohio State was a 1-play game. There is a lot of parity. And so that your ability to be fine at times matters. And they, for whatever reason, haven't been able to get that done. They're right there, and he's right. I mean, they have a roster that's absolutely capable of running the table. The flip side of that is probably true. It's probably a team that's capable of losing 3 more games.
Stacy said, I've gone to Tiger Stadium for the last time. Got cussed and yelled at in my face walking down the sidewalk Saturday at noon. Crazy. I, too, was invited to perform an act on a sex animal, on a zoo animal, and I'm 59 years old. So there's
Bless her. I told you, I left Hammond at the end of the first quarter of Alabama, South Carolina. And as I'm getting on the interstate, I'm going, this is awesome, man. You can get there early enough to walk around a little bit. I went on the back way on River Road. I knew exactly where I was going. And usually you just kind of cruise. And I got on River Road, and I'm like, well, there must have been an accident. There was no accident. It was just traffic. And I got on the campus, and it was just bizarre. And I was like, this place.
Dude, I saw Ben Mintz tweet something on Friday, and he was like, "Oh, traffic has picked up." It's like, no, it's picked up since Katrina.
Yeah,
Baton Rouge has only gotten worse since they had people come in during Katrina. I mean, the baseball freaking series, I was stuck in traffic for an hour for baseball.
Yeah,
you just couldn't get around. It's like, okay. I mean, I don't like it down there. I as much as I like New Orleans and like hanging out for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge does nothing for me. It's in one of my least 3 favorite places in the league. It's Tuscaloosa, Baton Rouge, and I'd have to think about who the third one is.
I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. I don't know how many people read 10 Thoughts because it was fresh off that. And I think people just don't want to read it, but that's fine. And it might have just been because I wrote shitty. I don't know. It's weird because official LSU, I think is fantastic.
No, 100%. No, 100%.
Like, the job that Michael Burnett and they do with media is out of sight, man. It's so good.
And simply game experience.
Yes.
It's the best all around
100%.
stadium experience in the league.
100%. The pregame, the halftime show, their band is phenomenal.
They're arguably one in football. Alabama might be one, but right there, one or two.
Yeah.
Baseball, they're one.
Yeah.
And then basketball's okay.
Oh, it's solid.
They just aren't very good,
Right.
but they do a good job.
They do a really good job. And yet, the fans are so, not all of them, because it's not 102,000 complete jerks. But, man, there's enough of them that are just out of control that it ruins the experience, I think.
It's so fascinating because, yes, I mean, it is. It's on you, and it's like Stacy's talking about, and it's not students. It's older fans.
Oh, yeah.
It's whatever, and it's a totally different fan than the baseball fan.
Oh, yeah.
The baseball fan at LSU is an older person. It's kind of your LSU baseball is your professional team in Louisiana. So it's a
kid
they'll
for
have
like
fun with you, but it's completely fun.
a kid for like Texas A&M will throw 7 2/3 of one-run ball.
Best fans in the league.
And
Great.
they'll applaud him as he walks off the field.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you were very good, young man.
Because they're so good, they don't freak out about losses.
Yeah.
It's all right. We'll be all right tomorrow, the next day, or whatever. And you go to a football game and go, this is the same damn fan base?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is.
It's incredible.
I mean, Ole Miss got their ass kicked for 3 days in Baton Rouge in baseball, and I left when that was really pleasant. I had a good time.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I had to deal with Mike 3 days, but otherwise that was great. That was
but
great.
their game ops and all that stuff
It was great.
It's first rate.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain it to people. I mean, their media op stuff, all of their media, the way they handle media, the way they treat is phenomenal. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10 every time.
Yeah.
They leave no stone unturned. I mean, it's really well done. Everyone's nice to you. The coffee's great. I mean, everything. And then you walk down onto the field after being up in the press box for 6 hours, and you walk down to the field like, am I even in the same place?
I know.
I wouldn't want to do this. Like the people that are sitting in the stands getting yelled at and stuff and having to worry about stuff getting thrown at them. I'm like, why would you do?
Baton Rouge and Knoxville are the worst at that.
Yes.
They suck.
So
both
bad.
of them at that.
So bad. To the point where I'm like, I don't know why people do this.
Yeah. All right, got a little basketball coming up later in the show, but first, tell you about the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Ole Miss men's basketball hosting Illinois Sunday, October 27th, the day after Oklahoma. Exhibition Sports Casa of North Mississippi. So stick around after the football game. Get your first look at the men's basketball program while helping a great cause. Also, season tickets are on sale for both men's and women's basketball. You can call the ticket office. Visit OleMissSports.com to get your tickets. Also, baseball renewals are underway. That's through October 31st. And then they're opening the new softball stadium. You can get season tickets with that, ranging from $100 to $150. 662-915-7159.
I'll take the bullet for us here. You've had Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce, but have you had them covered in sauce? Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you have never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. We're also brought to you by our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. We're also brought to you by Window Hero. Roby and Susan Allen and Window Hero, they are dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and everything in between. They'll take great care of you. Call Window Hero at 662-510-7077 to get an estimate or learn more at windowhero.com. Elevate your game day look with socks that financially support the Rebels. Every step you take shapes the future of Ole Miss athletics. Visit deadsoxy.com. Choose a subscription to receive the latest in Ole Miss styles every month or at an interval that best suits you. With a subscription, you'll receive 25% off member pricing, free shipping, and a free gift with your first order. So take the next step, upgrade your socks. As always, stay socksy. Well, we're brought to you by our friends at Southern Q Sauce Craft Barbecue Sauce. They've got some great sauces. They also have a variety of rubs. If you are enjoying the open date this weekend and you want to you maybe smoke a little, grill a little while you watch some of the other games, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, they've got Old Smoky, Honey Pecan, the Clucker, the Longhorn. Whether you are a professional pitmaster or an occasional backyard chef, Southern Q Sauce has the sauces and rubs to have your friends and family coming back for more. So check it out for yourself at southernqsauce.com. Use the discount code Rebel Grove for 15% off your order. We're also brought to you by Rustic Revivals. They're based out of Flowood, Mississippi. They build tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, chairs. Got a limited selection in their shop. And they deliver within 250 miles of Flowood. All pieces sealed for protection. You get 10% off your purchase by using the code REBELS10 when you go to checkout at rusticrevivalsms.com. Check them out on Instagram at Rustic Revivals or call them directly 228-217-1243.
Podcast is brought to you by NE Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, Spark offers both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabytes. Their 100 megabyte package is now 300 megabytes for the same price. To learn more or register for service, nespark.com. NeSpark. Get connected. Stay local. Let's see. Yeah, you could bring some Razorback nugs back from Tyson this weekend. They're probably available up there.
I would think they're available up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they hang with a 6-hour drive back, but
You got coolers.
that's true.
Take a cooler, pack it down.
I'm taking a cooler.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Not for nuggets.
Not for nugs.
Not for nugs.
Nope. Nope.
So I'm jumping all over.
Got a full day of tailgating. Supposed to be really nice.
You said you got 2 tailgates.
Oh, maybe more than that.
Maybe more than 2 tailgates.
Mm-hmm. Might be a day full of tailgating. Might be more tailgating in a day than I've ever done in a day.
Well, that probably wouldn't take a ton.
No, it was
are
pretty easy.
you sticking with the same alcoholic beverage all day and night? What is our plan here?
Let's
what are we
just
doing?
see what happens. Let's just see where it goes. You just never know.
Be careful though. Don't. I mean, let's not do Bloody Marys at 9, beers for 3, then tequila for 3 or 4.
I'm not a big Bloody Mary person. Now,
no, me neither.
Now, I love a mimosa, and I'll just tell you flat out, you want to take my
You have no shame.
You want to take my man card? Here, have it.
Yes.
And if someone says, hey, you want a little Aperol on that? Sure. Why not?
Sounds great.
I mean, yeah. That's not very manly. I don't care. I'm
very much of the sure, why not variety when it comes to that.
I'm very secure in my sexuality, so if me drinking a mimosa is going to make you question that at 54, I don't care. Go for it. Have all the doubts you'd like. I'm good with it.
Not aware that certain alcoholic beverages have sexual orientations. So
I'm unaware. No one's been able to explain that to me where I completely believe it. So, but then I suspect I'll switch to beer at some point and probably stay there generally most of the day.
Ole Miss opens up number 24 in the Associated Press Top 25 that came out yesterday. It is a top 25 littered with SEC teams in it, including Alabama at number 2. And I would have voted them number 1. I would have voted them 1.
I would have. Who got 1? UConn?
Kansas.
Okay.
It's the Notre Dame of Kansas is going number 1. It is what it is.
I'll tell you this. I was a voter for the SEC preseason thing.
Mm-hmm.
And last week was really busy, but I cleared like a 2-hour window. I benefited from having Aka do my college football picks. I didn't have to think about it. And so I took that window of time and studied SEC basketball. Man, this league's loaded. Like
a really good team is going to finish 9th in this league.
I'm not sure that a pretty decent team's not going to finish 11th or 12th. I mean, there's not a lot of bad.
So Kansas got 30 of 60 first place votes. Bama got 14. They're number 2.
I would have voted for Bama.
I would have too. UConn is number 3 with 11 first place votes. I'm not questioning Dan Hurley and his Huskies this season.
No. They've earned the benefit
if
of the
they cut
doubt.
some nets, they cut some nets. I mean, okay, sure. Houston with four first place votes. He's done a hell of a job there in Houston. They're ranked number 4. Iowa State number 5. Gonzaga 6. Duke 7. They're gonna be good.
Yeah,
They're actually too low at 7.
They've got 2 really.
Oddly, Duke is underrated going into the season.
Yeah, I don't know how good he'll be right away as a college player, but Cooper Flagg is elite.
So Baylor 8, Carolina 9, Arizona 10. So only one SEC team in the top 10.
Okay,
But
then they dominate the rest.
There's a lot. So then Auburn at 11, Tennessee at 12, A&M at 13, Purdue at 14, and the Zach Edey post era, Creighton at 15. UConn's only real competition there. Arkansas at 16, Indiana at 17. They're kind of back a little bit.
Yeah,
they're. I mean, people were kicking and screaming trying to get them back, but they're back a little bit. Marquette with Shaka is at 18.
Okay.
Texas at 19. Cincinnati at 20. Florida at 21.
I think they're underrated there.
Florida.
Yeah, and I think Arkansas is underrated at 16, to be honest.
Who
were the other ones up at the top again? It was A&M. A&M might be a little overrated right
Auburn
there.
11, Tennessee 12, A&M 13.
I think Tennessee might be a little underrated. Auburn's probably about right, and A&M might be a little overrated, but they're still going to be really good.
UCLA 22, Kentucky 23, Ole Miss 24.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That's about right. I mean, Texas, Kentucky, Ole Miss, you could sort of shuffle them and put them wherever you want and make an argument. Nobody's going to really fight you.
And then State got votes.
Yeah. State has some good players. I mean, Hubbard's a really good player.
What year is he?
Sophomore.
Oh, yeah. He was a freshman last year.
Yeah.
Ole Miss got ranked as high as 13th on an individual ballot.
That's too high.
That feels high. That was Kate Rogerson.
I mean, it might end up being right, but they got to prove it first.
That was Kate Rogerson from Raleigh, a TV reporter.
Okay.
Randy Heights voted them 16, so they had one vote at 13, and then one at 16.
Yeah,
that's from Norman, Oklahoma, is where that person resides, and then they have one at 18. That was from Nevada. That guy always picks the football team up high too. He's a rebel. I don't know why, but he's always. I see him every time I do this thing.
Okay.
I would have even just recognized his mugshot had you not put his name.
How about that?
Yeah. And then 3 at 19, 3 at 20 started filling in pretty good after
that's where you start getting about right. I think you could put Ole Miss as high as like 19 and feel good about it. And
30 or 31 do not have them ranked.
Yeah, that's fair too. I mean, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. They didn't prove anything last year. In fairness. They've got some nice pieces. I think their roster has a question mark or two. I do think they're going to be better. It's a veteran team. I think they're going to be a much better defensive team. Last year, defensively killed them. They just could not guard in spots on the perimeter. And I think they're going to be much better at that this time around. I think they're going to handle the ball better. I do wonder about their rebounding, their rim protection. I've got questions there. But, man, there's good players on so many teams in the league. So many teams. Like Georgia, Asa Newell's on Georgia's team. A lot of people talk about him being a top 10 pick in the draft. South Carolina's got a lottery pick. It's just a really loaded league. A lot of good teams.
As said there, the Big 12 is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's 5 Big 12 teams in the top 10.
It's the best basketball league in the country.
Kansas, Houston, Iowa State, Baylor, Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, hard to argue with that.
Now, note from there, Cincinnati at 20. That's it. Big 10, a little, not as good as usual, at least in the preseason rankings. Is Purdue at 14 really the highest ranked Big 10 team? Yeah. It's true.
Where's Illinois? Not ranked.
No, and I thought they were supposed to be really good. Were they not?
Well, they were really good last year, but their best player's gone, Terrence Shannon.
Oh, okay. No, they are not ranked. They're first out, 26.
Oh, okay. So 26 versus 24 in the exhibition game the day after Oklahoma.
Yes.
Also at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. But they are the third ranked Big Ten team.
Okay.
Purdue at 14, Indiana at 17.
Should be interesting.
Tickets on sale now.
Yeah.
As many as you want. It's an exhibition.
It's an exhibition. It's an interesting tip time on Sundays, but once basketball season rolls around, there's games that tip at 11 on Sunday all the time. Big Ten does.
So you haven't seen this SEC Big Ten scheduling thing?
I did not.
Not? Okay. So this was part of what they discussed last week in Nashville when they all met together. You had Sankey and was it Paletti?
Yeah, Petiti.
Petiti. Okay.
Petiti.
I'll get there eventually. It's fine.
It doesn't matter.
It's not Kevin Warren anymore.
No, it's not.
It's Petiti.
No, and these are two people that I think respect one another. They like one another. I think they're kind of on the same page.
Petiti, being a big-time TV guy, is a little less concerned with anything related to the culture of the league.
Yeah.
It's money, TV, money.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Sankey is a little more concerned about regionality and culture and footprint and that kind of thing. So they're probably decent, an odd couple in those ways, while being very similar in every other way.
And let's be clear, Greg has a responsibility to the bottom line as well.
He does. Yes.
So
he's not completely going, you know what? Nah.
Yeah, he's not.
Never mind.
He doesn't say, don't tell me the financials. I don't care. That's no.
Keep your check.
No.
We're good.
He wants to know.
So they're discussing a potential scheduling agreement that would have a significant increase in media rights revenue, and it would just another step in the distancing between these two conferences and every damn body else, essentially, at this point. So the thought is they are trying to do one of these one-off competitions, much like the SEC Big 12 Basketball Challenge, the Big 10 ACC Challenge, these set-up games to play each other over the course of a weekend, multiple weekends, whatever it looks like from a scheduling standpoint to make that happen. Says that the two super conferences could face off as many as 12 to 16 regular season non-conference games a year or more to determine the extent of the increase in media rights revenues at this point. The potential scheduling agreement is an answer to billions in lost revenue from the House legal case settlement, blah, 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 blah. Not going there anymore.
Thank God.
Let me finish, and then you
I'm just
you
laughing.
can explain you're laughing.
I'm laughing. Go ahead.
Okay. Said the only way to maximize revenue is with an increased number of high-value non-conference games over a specific time period, and that could be negotiated and contracted. There's some fairly interesting stuff here. So
yeah, I know. So far, I'm in.
SEC Big Ten so far has had 3 interconference games this season. They've all ranked among the top games in the country as far as ratings.
Imagine that.
Southern Cal, LSU, Alabama, Wisconsin, Texas, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 you have to date.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's only 3 games, not enough. They want many more.
Yeah.
So double-digit games can be promoted and sold as standalone events, like we said, which would just draw unique advertising dollars and are appealing to broadcast partners. Now, big hurdles to clear: schedule structure, format of how the games are paired, and revenue distribution. But officials in both conferences see the potential agreement as an answer to the rapidly changing financial landscape of college football. Another possible revenue stream is private equity, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into that because I don't think that's going to happen. They met in Nashville last week, trying to figure this out. They're saying they're working together as an advisory group, is the term that we are using here. We're not saying commission or committee. We're saying advisory group. I will say this alliance has much more steam than that previous one that we heard about last year between the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big 12 or Big 10 or whoever the hell it was. I don't remember at this
that
point.
was just a quick conference call. Hey, we're all in this together, right? Let's announce it. And then it fell apart. Yeah.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed here on that one. So this one, how much revenue? How do you schedule? But what looks like a simple trade-off is not without unique circumstances. How many conference games will the SEC and Big Ten play, 8 or 9? And how many of the combined 34 teams will be available for the proposed games? This is written, I'm going to get to the paragraph in a second, where my antenna went up, but not in the way I expected when I read this.
Okay.
It says, as important, how will the revenue be divided? And if the conferences pool non-conference games, are there advantages down the road to pooling media rights revenue and gaining even more financial stability? Could the Big Ten and SEC at some point combine forces for one major rights deal for all networks instead of splicing them up between each of them, which would lead to a mini NFL, by the way. That's what would happen. But the structure. Big Ten currently plays 9 games, the SEC 8, and it has been my very educated opinion that the SEC was going to go to 9 moving forward.
Right. Same.
I've got a little bit of like a Corso, not so fast, my friend here in
Okay.
this.
All right.
If the SEC moves to 9, a corresponding move could be as many as 12 new non-conference games between the leagues. If both move to 8 conference games, there's the possibility for as many as 20.
Well, that makes more sense, actually.
The Big Ten backing up,
Yeah.
filling it with an SEC game at that point.
And maybe you play 2 SEC. 2.
Maybe.
Look.
But now you've got a couple issues. You got the 4 schools in the SEC that are dead set to play their ACC rivals. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky.
Okay.
And then in the Big Ten, you have 3 teams that are dead set on playing other teams. You have Southern Cal playing Notre Dame, Oregon playing Oregon State, and Washington playing Washington State.
And Iowa playing Iowa State.
Yeah, but that okay.
Doesn't get mentioned, but yeah.
It doesn't get mentioned, but yes. So those 7, maybe Iowa said the hell with it. We'll just take the money.
Could well, I don't blame them.
Yeah, maybe that's what's her name, Beth, the AD there. Isn't her name Beth?
I'm not sure.
Those 7 schools don't want a future 9-game conference schedule that includes a non-conference game against current rivals and another game from a new scheduling agreement. Such a move would leave only one flexible money-making home game on the 12-game schedule. 4 of those schools are major TV draws and critical to any offer of non-conference games to media rights partners. Petiti said after Thursday, we had a pretty big discussion about the path to play each other more. See if you can figure out how you can actually do it, decide what games you want, how many, but that's a broad discussion. So it's being done in the environment that clearly favors the 2 super conferences. Both have pulled away financially, blah, 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 blah. The last thing is the Big Ten and SEC don't want an optics of collusion. It's no coincidence that both brought legal teams to last week's meetings to steer clear of those potential problems. Is there a way for us to be intentional about our scheduling, said Sankey. Just an incredible experience. You stand on the sideline prior to kickoff thinking, what if we can do more of this with our non-conference games, he said, while attending Texas and Michigan. So,
well, I mean,
would you go Big 10 to 8 instead of SEC to 9 in your thoughts right now?
I mean, sure, if everyone's going to play, right? And some teams are going to play twice. I've said this so many times, and I'm not making it up. I know this to be facts. Fox and Disney, ABC, whatever, however you want to define the SEC partner, they don't want these trash games.
Correct.
And they're not going to pay more unless they're promised that A, we don't have to get these trash games, and B, we get this new inventory that allows us to do a national game. And look, if you had a SEC Big Ten weekend, it'd be such a hit. And then you'd have Fox, you'd have Fox Sports 1 or whatnot.
I mean, opening weekend is when you do it. You do it opening weekend and spread it across Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
And then look, if people just want to talk about football for a minute, how much better off would Ole Miss be today if instead of Wake, they'd played a decent Big Ten team and won?
Yeah, you got to win over Illinois today instead, or whomever.
Yes. You'd be in a lot better shape than you are. Like, I have a mailbag question that I'm going to answer honestly, and it's going to piss off a bunch of people. And I don't mean for it to, but the question is, what are you cheering for if you're Ole Miss in the event that you went out? And it's like a lot. You need a lot for your resume to have some steam, because there's a potential where your resume just is blah. Even at 10-2, they might still get you in. That's not the point. But would you be better off with a Big Ten win? Yes. So those games need to be played. And if you play enough of those games, strength of schedule is going to make it where maybe you could lose 3 times in a year and still get in.
Look, from an entertainment standpoint, I agree with you. BWL says go 8 SEC, 1 Big Ten, 1 Power 5, 1 Group of 5, 1 FCS. I don't know. I actually think the Group of 5 is the one in danger more than the FCS. But
yeah, because you can do the FCS one on just the streaming only.
Yes.
It's this Group of 5. Some of those games are so bad, and the networks just don't want them. Georgia Southern at Ole Miss has zero appeal to anyone outside of those two schools. LSU versus who'd they play? Who was their group of five? It was
South Alabama.
Nobody's watching that shit. Nobody's watching it. They just don't. LSU, UCLA, sure, people watch that. And UCLA's trash, and they still watched it. Nobody's watching these bad group of five games. And further, I'm surprised fans don't push back and go, you know what, I'm saving my money for that. I mean, I've traveled to 3 games this year. I have a feel for what it cost. I'm traveling to a game this weekend. I know what that cost. I mean, I don't – people just – I'm surprised people spend that money to go see Furman, Mercer. I'm honestly surprised. That's not a slap. Now, would people go to see Iowa, Michigan State? Sure. Yeah. You get name appeal. It's interesting. It's intersectional. It would be interesting to see 10 Big Ten versus SEC games on a weekend and see who won what. There's ways to do it where it would be interesting. Sure.
As early as?
Oh, I think you could do it as early as 26. Hell, you might be able to do it next year.
Because there are currently no SEC Big Ten games just on the schedule that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm. No.
I mean, LSU played 2 this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, LSU's got a lot going for it from a scheduling standpoint right now. With like at the end of this year, if they're 10-2 somehow, they're good.
They're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's where it's at. So, it's going to happen. There's going to be these little small steps all the way to what is likely a prominent partnership.
Yeah.
We're just going to take our toys and
that's what it sounds like.
Trying to beat antitrust, trying to beat collusion.
Well, yeah, they're worried about getting sued. Yes. And that's literally the only thing stopping them from, I think, just diving in.
Yeah. So they have to do it in very small steps to avoid antitrust legislation.
Yeah.
Or at least the fear of it.
You know, but at some point, don't you have to look around and go, I'm tired of propping up the ACC. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
Figure it out or don't.
Or don't.
Yeah.
And I saw in the stream, say Kentucky's already come out publicly and said they don't have to play Louisville. Be all right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Because if you're Kentucky, I mean, what's it, Kroger Field? Is that what it's called?
That is, yes.
I mean, you know, they're going to get a big crowd for some of those Big Ten games. Some of those Big Ten teams are fairly close.
Yeah. You get a big, like, Kentucky, even like Indiana would be a big crowd.
Yeah, it'd be a big game. Sure.
Yeah, don't have to play the Cardinals.
No.
Till then, go play somebody else.
Or just do whatever you want to do. We're not playing you anymore.
Yeah.
Screw it. Oklahoma didn't play Oklahoma State this year. The world didn't stop turning.
We didn't have Bedlam and didn't have Bedlam.
It's fine. Yeah. It just makes sense. And the networks want it. And so they're all in the room together and they're going, okay, well, the SEC's like, well, how much more can we make? Well, you can make a lot more, but we need this. Because they'd love, I mean, Alabama, Wisconsin this year got a massive number. Because it makes sense. Those are 2 brands. And when people turn the TV on all over the country, 2 brands are on.
It was a blowout.
Yeah, but it still got a huge number.
It did.
Because you have the brands, you have the traditions, you have the stuff.
The whole thing.
I mean, if Ole Miss were going to Iowa, people would be excited.
Oh, yeah.
Something new. If Ole Miss were going to Michigan, people would be excited.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be some people who, that's a loss. Yeah, I know, but
not the point.
You're becoming NFL. NFL doesn't get consumed with a loss. It's about brands and matchups and marketing, and you can market that stuff. I don't know that in today's game you can even market this stuff anymore. Like Ole Miss, Middle Tennessee, no offense, but that's unmarketable. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, yeah, you can market that.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, Penn State, sure, no problem. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
When Auburn played Penn State in the home and home, they had big numbers on those games. Yeah. Both of them, the one in Pennsylvania and the one at Auburn.
Yeah. All right, talk a little more business college athletics after the break. First, it's Citizens Bank, not just account number. You're a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, it's another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, who many of you know in the mortgage space, now at the Citizens Bank and ready to help you with real estate goals. Stop by and visit 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your options with Whit or one of their experienced bankers who values your financial journey. And while you're there, ask about the School Spirit debit cards that donate an amount per every transaction. The local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We're brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else. And they've got window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive in Grenada. You can also call them at 662-226-3127. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamage Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They pretty much have everything you're looking for in jewelry, diamonds, pearls, stones, you name it. They've got it. Great for gifts. Christmas right around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. If you're thinking about jewelry for Christmas, Arnett's really wants to be your jeweler. The College Corner this week. If you're at the College Corner, the location in Oxford, the two locations in Jackson, leave a tip on a purchase. That tip goes to the Grove Collective, and it also gets you registered for a signed, autographed, I should say, Grove Collective football. It's Trey Harris, Juice Wells, and another wide receiver, I think Jordan Watkins, but I'm not positive. It doesn't matter. It's there. collegecornerstore.com as well. We're also brought to you, you're getting...
We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Call Argent Welts 401k Advisory Services team today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Argent Wealth on BlueSky Live. Get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. Get in touch with him at 901-494-3387 or send him an email, j.edwards@regencytravel.net. And get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile that includes Invisalign, implants, and more. It's CorinthDental.com.
Mission at the Men's Clinic in Madison and Brandon to help patients realize the absolute best version of themselves. They want their patients to remain as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They do that by optimizing testosterone, improving sleep, reducing inflammation, treating insulin resistance, and facilitating a healthy gut microbiome. So if you're experiencing things such as low energy levels, no motivation, decrease in muscularity, increased belly fat, low sex drive, difficulty sleeping, hair loss, and other things, they can help you out. That's themanthing.com. That's where you go to make an appointment today. Again, locations in Madison or Brandon, 601-607-7869. Yeah, no, what I was laughing was, and clearly we have people listening, but you reminded me of was it the Harry Dole thing when he can't find whatever, and he's like, the hell with it. Nobody's listening anyway. Yeah. It's like, it's cool.
I mean, I know two of the three. It's probably Watkins, but I don't know. Maybe it's Caden Lee. I don't know.
Oh, God. He opens his, the weekly call-in show or whatever. I guess in the first one, he was like, if you haven't seen, he's like, judging by the attendance, you haven't. The Indians are on a roll.
Oh,
it will always be funny. For years and decades, it will always be funny.
And he's such a Brewer guy, and then he does the Indians, and it's perfect, you know.
By the way, the Yankees look like, as Tuberville would say, a rolling ball of butcher knives right now.
They're good.
They look quite quite locked in. Mets tie at 1-1 in the series, 7-3 winners over the Dodgers last night.
It was early.
Dodgers have some pitching issues. I know they had 33 consecutive scoreless, so you're stabbing me in the head right now. But in general, they have some pitching problems on a consistent level.
And the Mets are just good. But that game was determined early. Like football analogy, right? The Mets loaded the bases and hit the grand slam. If you had not converted there, maybe it's a different ball game, obviously. Duh. But, when you have a chance to score, score. And they did. And that's why they held on and won a 7-3 game. And back to New York now, 1-1. And that place, Citi Field or whatever, is going to be rocking. Oh, my God.
I think I'm just for the Guardians because they have the payroll that's not enormous out of the 4 teams. I think that's just how I'm deciding this thing at this point. That's fair, right?
Yeah, I like Jose Ramirez a lot. The Naylor brothers. I like the Guardians. They're fun. But I don't know, man. I don't know how you beat the Yankees right now. They've got Juan Soto followed by Aaron Judge. Don't even get me started on the Juan Soto thing. I let myself start on that, and
Stanton.
But Soto's a free agent.
Oh,
this is over. And
are you feeling it?
No, they're not going to do it. I know what I would do if I ran a big market team. I would go, here is a blank check.
How often do they wear the logo on your hat versus the traditional C?
I'd never. This is like a batting practice.
Oh,
hat.
That's it?
Yeah.
It never is in the game?
It should be because it's really good.
It is good.
No, they're very traditional, which is fine. I don't have a problem with tradition. I just don't like something.
You don't think they should do the Ole Miss Oregon thing and wear different uniforms all the time?
No, their home uniform is fire. They could fix the road gray and make it really good. And then they have a light blue pinstripe thing that they used to do back in the day that looks fantastic. That would be a great road uni, but they don't do it.
New York Times has a story on Missouri football and their NIL capabilities, how they use the law today. And even as this House settlement potentially gets passed, and I know I'm being hard-headed, but I still think it's going to run into problems before it gets all the way through. I want to see where more teams go on the spectrum of following to the level that Missouri has done to having no appetite. And when I say that, it is using marketing creations to allow the athletics department to fund NIL. Missouri has gone further than anybody else in the country. They have created, I forget the name. It's somewhere in this article that I'm reading right now. They've created every True Tiger. There we go. That distributes the money to the athletes. So the athletics department has created this marketing entity called Every True Tiger, or the NIL, whoever the hell did it, I don't know. But the athletic department pays it to this marketing agency as a third party, and then that pays the players. It's money laundering, but it's legal.
Yeah.
So the Missouri's legislation has passed
blatant, transparent money laundering. Whatever.
The University of Missouri has created one of the most transparent mechanisms to make sure its student athletes get paid and paid well with the help of the state legislature. Most donor-funded collectives raise a majority of their dollars from boosters, but in Missouri, a state law has allowed the university to create and fund a marketing agency called Every True Tiger that distributes money to its athletes. The law also allows in-state athletes to begin profiting from endorsement deals while still in high school, blah, 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 as long as they attend a public university in Missouri. They're calling it the Mizzou model. And a lot of schools, including Ole Miss, Mississippi's legislature allows this for maybe not completely, but for the most part. I'm not 100% up on exactly the terminology. But I know like Ole Miss went part of the way, but didn't feel comfortable going all the way with this is. And a lot of schools haven't for potential NCAA rules stuff. There's reasons at every place it's different. But it's the one way to just guarantee you that you're not as month over month. Now it's stressing the hell out of your athletic department budget, your foundation budget, however you want to phrase that.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's all good, but it's worked for Missouri. You are having more and more states say yes. I want to see where we are in 6 months with this and how many more schools go, you know what? The hell with it. Okay. Because in some ways you go, maybe the NCAA does come after us. Maybe so. Maybe we got to deal with that. Maybe we're the one. But it's also the best and maybe only chance to win for a lot of these teams too.
Well, not only just to win, but to just
to get off the fans a little bit.
that's the point.
And even I get that the fans are still floating into the budget to an extent, but it's completely different. It feels different. It is different. It's different.
It has to be. The fan reliant model doesn't work. It's not going to. I'm more and more convinced I'm right. You just can't keep hitting people up for more. You're going to have to make this corporate. You're going to have to make this more sensical. It can't just be, hey, let's just get more. And then you can't figure out how the hell to distribute it and what you're doing. And I mean, Tyler and I talked about this a lot on McCready and Siskey yesterday. Look around the country at who's winning. Just look around.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Sample size is still so small that you can't go crazy with it, but it's interesting. The early results are interesting. It's places that have NIL programs, but they don't go, they kind of just distribute it evenly. And so you don't have a lot of the crazy stuff. You don't have a lot of the locker room issues that some of the bigger programs are having, and they are.
The guy that wrote the law at Missouri says everything about recruiting is an inducement, telling a kid we're going to have a nice new locker room next year or a new weight room. Now they can make money. We want them to make the most they can. We want our school to win. So we put in the framework that would accomplish both goals. Talks about that Drinkwitz. The one thing that's interesting to me in this that I wasn't 100% aware of, otherwise I kind of knew what they were doing, was Drinkwitz is the clear executive of the Football Incorporated, if you will, because he kind of has the budget, knows the going rates for positions, and in an effort to keep some secrecy is not the right word, but basically not let it be throughout the building what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
They've kept it very tight on Drinkwitz and a very small amount of staff members to even understand or have the ability to offer, because that's what it is.
Well,
because now that high school kids in Missouri can get it, you're literally making an offer to them like an NFL contract
right.
at this point.
Because they had a situation a couple of 3 years ago where
their locker room was hell.
And well, it got out. The list got out and players saw it. And so there was a backup quarterback that was making more than 2/3 of the roster. And it led to just chaos.
They list the going rates as $1 million for a quarterback and $710,000 for a receiver in the New York Times.
You don't think how do you think that plays out in the wide receiver room some places? Where one guy's getting 700 and another guy's getting 150.
And one guy's getting more balls or less balls or whatever. And
I mean, you don't think that gets a little testy, do you?
Feels potentially problematic.
For 19-year-olds without a labor agreement? Yeah, that's a problem.
But I am just, I don't know. Part of me goes, yeah, sure, it's where we are. And I'll be honest, what they're doing makes more sense to me than the house settlement. This is, I get it's money laundering, but if this is what the game we're going to play, this makes more sense than anything else.
Yeah.
Let everybody fund it the same way and just simply, because when you do this, you're essentially doing the house settlement because you're using your big bank account to pay. But there's no extra rules on it. You just do market rates across the board for every sport.
Yeah.
I don't have extra sets of stipulations. I just pay.
And you have a budget.
And not everybody's paying the same, but everybody's not paying the same later anyway. It's where was it Jed Fish at Washington? Was that his name?
Yeah.
He had a big long thing about, when the house settlement comes down, at least these rosters are going to be basically the same on compensation, but it wasn't, because you watched Oregon, Ohio State and what they did, and that's these two $20 million budgets playing, and it's not fair to everybody else. It's like, you don't think under the table money and collectives are not still going to exist after the damn house settlement? Not everybody is going to be exactly the same dollar then freaking either.
No, but I think then at least. I kind of know what he's saying, though.
I get it, but this would do the same thing.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know why. I hate this conversation. I don't know why everybody can't just admit, hey, we're going to have to take it out of the athletic budget. Let's figure it out. And then do it, and then be able to go, but this is all we have. We're not going to go hit up the fans for another $10 million this year so that we can buy 4 more players. Nope, this is what we have. So we're going to make it work. You should get back to a place, and maybe this is old man yelling at cloud, where a kid goes to Ole Miss because in part he wanted to go to Ole Miss, not because they paid him an extra $40,000. You should get back to that. You should want to get back to that.
We didn't realize how simple it was back in the day when we did some shoes and some PlayStations and a little cash here
And for the
there,
most part,
and,
kids went where they wanted to go.
They did.
There was a rare occasion where a kid wanted to go to, say, Ole Miss, and he ended up.
Sure, there's a car here or there, but okay.
But yeah, but for the most part, even then, right? Like I'll say the word, Nakobe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did Nakobe Dean probably deep down want to go to Ole Miss at one point? Sure. But Georgia recruited him for years. There was a relationship. Now they don't even care about visits. I mean, there was some Iowa running back got redshirt or whatever. People immediately come out with, he's got 21 interest things. Okay, kids like that, they're not going to take all these visits. They're just going to say, give me the highest bid. So they're going to go to wherever gets the highest bid, and it's either going to work or it's not. And if it doesn't, they'll be miserable and they'll opt out 4 games in anyway. That's not, I don't know how that's appealing to anyone. I look at it as an outsider and go, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you want kids, college kids, 18, 19-year-old kids, you want them to go someplace that they actually wanted to go. There needs to be more than, well, they just offered more money. That shouldn't be the only factor in a college choice. But if it is, then declare this to be what it, go figure out a way to make it pro sports. Don't even make the kids enroll in school. Just admit out loud
lease
that
a football team.
At least a football team and say that's where we are. I'd have more respect for it than this dog and pony show that we sort of are still trying to sort of do right now.
Yeah, we're slowly coming out of it, but it's a mess. All right, G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Free prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. They also make it easy to transfer your medications. One phone call, they take care of the rest. So whether it's Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, it's 662-236-2222.
Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, a diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net or Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email him at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have picks to you on Thursday. I just remembered I have not built the template for picks.
Something's in place.
Which was like, oh, shit. Presented by Kaiser Flooring, locations in Oxford and Batesville. Kaiser Flooring provides outstanding quality flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. Kaiser carries the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. Their goal is to offer amazing and durable flooring products and superior services to make your life easier. It's kaiserflooring.com, or you can call them in Oxford or Batesville. And we're brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a full-service investment team based in Jackson, providing financial planning and investment management to clients across the state and surrounding areas. They're a local team that utilize the strength and resources of a national firm to bring their clients an impeccable level of service. This includes access to investment strategies and portfolio managers not available to all investors. So if you're interested in a no-obligation consultation or just want to be added to their monthly market update email list, reach out to Ryan Geary at 601-368-2215 or ryan.geary@raymondjames.com. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Pocket Slip brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. They deliver, sorry, wrong people. Pick up your tailgating packages at Chicory Market. That's where they're located now. They're inside Chicory. So whether it is for getting ready for Oklahoma next week or just simply stopping in to see all their local homemade cheeses, their pepper jellies, their feta dip, their charcuterie trays, there are tons of seasonal options there from Johnson Hill Creamery. Or again, those tailgating packages that feed 10, 20, or 40, depending on whatever it is you need. Desserts, tons of items there. Again, that's johnsonhillcreamery.com. You can pick up on Friday or Saturday of home game weekends. And again, it's all located there inside Chicory Market. Did you watch any of the NFL game last night? I saw this morning Devontae Adams has been traded to the New York Jets.
It was on. I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was watching
NBA?
I was watching the Major League Baseball game more.
Oh, okay.
And frankly, we lit a fire outside. It was really nice, and I was just kind of chilling.
Paul George got hurt last night.
I saw that.
Hyperextended left knee. If so, that's good news.
If that's
It
all,
could have been way worse.
If that's all it is, it's good news for that team.
That's the headline on ESPN.
I don't like the Sixers team.
No, you think they might get
tank. I don't. I like, there are other teams in the East that I like a lot more.
But it's Boston.
It's Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Philly.
Yeah.
I like Cleveland a lot.
The Knicks are there.
Oh, yeah, Knicks are good.
Okay. I mean, you would pick Boston.
Oh, yeah, I'm picking Boston. I picked Boston to win the title.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm. I had Celtics Thunder in the finals.
Oh. I mean, it's hard to really argue.
Thunder in the preseason have looked really, really good. It's almost like they know what they're doing with putting a roster together.
Window's barely even open.
Yeah, it's just now open.
It's open, but...
Oh, yeah, this is the first year that there's stakes, really.
Switching sports, ESPN has the Vikings number 2 in its power rankings, 5-0.
They're winning.
All 4 NFC North teams are over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've only played one game against each other yet.
Yeah, some of that starts this week, right?
Yeah, so by just scheduling, you will have losses. Because somebody said, hey, could they all make the playoffs? It's like...
Probably not.
No, that would be tough because you got to... I know I'm not a math whiz, but when 2 teams play each other, somebody loses. So...
It's true.
You're going to have some losses come in. Lions at 3. Texans at 4, 5-1. A lot of their games are ugly, but they keep winning.
Yeah. They're good on lines of scrimmage.
They are. Which helps, as we've seen. Ravens have turned it around. They've won 4 in a row. They're 4-2. Huh?
I resent that.
You resent that?
They should have losses, but they don't.
Bills 4-2, winning the East now. They're number 6. Bucks 4-2. They're fun. I mean, I watched them dismantle the Saints in the second half, and I like watching Baker. Plays really hard.
Yeah.
It's a good quarterback. Tampa's a team that, if they didn't have the Tampa on the helmet that kind of bugs me from my fandom, they would be a team that I would like watching every week. I really do like them. Packers 8, Commanders 9, and hell of a start for Jaden Daniels so far. 4-2 there for Washington.
I've said it so many times, it's repetitive. I'll give LSU credit, man. They had all those recruits in the building.
Yeah.
And they do the whole
NFL
Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Jamar Chase, all that.
Hard to argue.
They make sure they know that, hey, we've developed quite the NFL lineage here, boys.
Death taxes and the Pittsburgh Steelers, 500 or better, 4-2 for Mike Tomlin and his Steelers.
Would literally get 15 to 20 job offers in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because there was some offseason talk of like, hey, is Pittsburgh moving on from? It's like,
I mean, he doesn't care. Move on if you like.
Go put somebody else's hat on.
He'll have literally would have 15 job offers quietly within 10 minutes.
Yeah. GMs will be going, hey, can we fire our coach? Mm-hmm. What would happen here if he wants to come?
It'd be like when Craig Counsell was a free agent.
How do we do
Even
this?
Teams that had managers were like, what do we do?
Yeah, how do we get out of this?
Could we get out of this?
And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Falcons are 4-2, and I'm not just doing this as a Saints fan. When you win 3 games where you had less than a 4% chance of winning with 3 minutes left in the game, it's coming back to get you.
Yeah, you're playing with fire.
You're not a Super Bowl winner.
I'm a big law of averages person.
Yeah, If I were a Falcons fan, I'd be going, it's fun, but oof.
It's one of the reasons I'm not totally stunned that Ole Miss is where Ole Miss is, because they kind of this year over year they won like last year they won a bunch of close games, and so this year they've lost a couple of close games, which means they're probably about to go win a close game. It just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big win-loss toss guy, and in the swing games, I think you can basically split them in half. If you win them all in a given year, you had a fortunate year. If you lose them all in a given year, you had an unfortunate year. Most of the time, you're going to sort of split them. So Ole Miss probably has a close win coming.
Two teams that had expectations really struggling. The Bengals at 23 at 2-4, and the Dolphins at 24 at 2-3.
I mean, the Bengals are so close to being 4-2, 5. I mean, we could do it, all right, but you're not.
Yeah. Instead, you have the same record as the New York Football Giants.
Yeah. You know, and you don't get to do the Hugh Freeze thing. Well, if you played them 9 more times, well, you don't play them 9 more times. You didn't do it. You lost.
And then your one-win teams, the Patriots, the Jags, the Panthers, and the Browns, and the Titans.
Yeah.
All those at 1 win.
Bad teams. The Browns. Wow. All that money, and it's a disaster.
It's awful.
It's just a disaster. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Doors. I really like the Timberwolves roster, too. I think the West has 4, maybe 6 really strong rosters that make a ton of sense, that could make deep playoff runs. Nuggets, of course, the Wolves, Thunder, the Mavericks. I like the Pelicans, but I'm perpetual optimist as it pertains to Zion Williamson for some reason, even though I'm proven wrong year after year. I don't think you can completely count the Lakers out because they're the Lakers. And there's some other – I like Sacramento a lot. There's really good teams, and the West is just loaded. And that's before you even talk about like wild cards like Memphis, the Spurs, with this generational player in a second year. What if he takes a leap? It's just a loaded league. I'm excited.
Yeah, I kind of last thing, and we'll talk some NBA as the weeks move on. Obviously, the Lakers really interest me in a lot of ways with like Redick and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm so out on this Bronny thing
Yeah.
to where it's going to make me not watch them, even though I kind of want to watch them. And I get he's not going to really play, but
he's not.
It just
it's going to be a momentary story that passes. I get why people are irritated by it. I totally get it. I also
because what's going to happen though in like 4 weeks, he's going to come in mop up time. He's going to score 2 points, and he's going to be the picture on the front of the thing when they win a game 102 to 100. When he scored 2 points at the end, it's like,
yeah, I get it. I think for me, someone like me who enjoys the league, there's so many other storylines that I'm interested in that's like whatever.
Oh, I hate the media. I don't even hate the Lakers.
Yeah.
I hate the media doing it.
Yeah, and they're just clicks, click, click. Hey, they played together.
Yeah.
And if I'm JJ, I get that over with quickly, like early in the season.
This isn't Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. doing it.
No, everyone knew that Junior was a generational talent.
Yes.
And that they kept Dad around maybe a year longer just to do this, and it was fine. Yeah. And it worked.
Yeah.
This is not that. I feel bad for the kid. I do.
Fair. No, it's fair.
He didn't ask for this.
No, it's fair. All right, back tomorrow with another Blue Sky Live for you, rebelgrove.com. In the meantime, we'll have coverage there, coverage up, and then plenty of other podcasts on MPW Digital as well. So take care. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.